Alright, so life just dumped a pile of crap on your favourite shoes. Let's figure out how to not just stand there but actually stomp that mess into something useful. So I'm Nicole, I'm a holistic counsellor and a bodywork therapist, and I'm going to be doing monthly walk talks, although I'm not walking today, called Walking Through the Shitstorm. I'm planning to upload it to YouTube and then try and get the audio from it and to put it on Spotify. I've got to figure that out, but let's see how we go. So today is about when life throws you some curveballs, and we're going to work out how to deal with that curveball and what to do when it hits you square in the face. Everyone has shitstorms. No one's immune. No one's exempt. I promise that I'm going to be talking real and no fluffy, just think positive bullshit. So I'm going to share a personal story about when life threw me a curveball. Well, David a curveball, but indirectly threw me a curveball. So we just had our first daughter and she was 12 weeks old. And David was having some things happening, a bit of dizziness, not feeling too well, and long story short, he got told he had a brain tumour. I don't know about you, but when you hear brain tumour, you automatically think the worst, and so Dave was probably the strongest out of both of us. I was a bit of a mess, and yeah, it was a sucky time because, you know, we just had this newborn baby, we were feeling all those feels, so excited, and then it was like the rug was pulled out from underneath us, and yeah, it was messy, it was sad. We did get told it showed up like it was cancerous, which later on, thank goodness, it turned out not to be, which was a massive blessing. But yeah, how I got through that. The most common reaction, I think, was I was just sad. I felt like I had been robbed. I was angry. I think I felt every single emotion at once. It's just like, I think I was that shocked then at times I didn't feel anything. But I suppose all these feelings are valid and you're supposed to feel them because you're human. And, you know, if Dave comes home, if your husband comes home and you've got a new baby and, you know, he says, I've got a brain tumour, and you're like, oh, okay, let's fix this, and you're automatically positive, I call bullshit, because your first reaction is never positive. You know, I think the way I got through it was to kind of just name and shame the problem, to kind of be like, right, this is shit, you have to sit with the shit for a little bit and just go, wow, fuck, this is a really bad place to be in. You have to let yourself feel all those feels, and then it's kind of your decision whether you want to continue to sit there and continue to dwell on what could go wrong or the bad shit that's happening, or whether you go, okay, this could end badly, but I'm going to do everything possible to make it have a positive outcome. You know, you have to give yourself permission to feel shitty. Nobody wants any forced positivity. And then it's, you know, it was just a matter of taking tiny steps every day. You know, sometimes it looked like just getting dressed for the day. Sometimes it looked like having a sob with my mum or my dad. Sometimes for me it looked like prayer. I've never prayed so much in my life at that point. But yeah, tiny steps, and then eventually that snowballed into positivity, and we got some really great news. And I'm not going to lie, and I suppose for everyone, when you go through some shit, even though it turns out positive, sometimes you have those days where you remember it and it's not the best feeling, but you know, it's good to sit with that and not pretend to be okay. So anyway, what happens when life shits on your parade. Just like I said before, everybody has pretty similar reactions to it. Some people, are in shock. There's anger, there's denial. Some people freeze, there's despair. And, a lot of times people try and squash those feelings down and try to pretend everything's okay and try to be the tough person, but bottling shit up never gets you anywhere. It's gonna come out at some time, and usually when it does, it makes a whole fucking mess. So you just have to remember these feelings are valid. It's human as fuck to feel like a mess at times. Like, we're not supposed to feel amazing when life throws us shit like this. Even if you're crying, yelling, or emotional eating, it's a way of getting through it, and you just have to do what works for you at that point in time. But it's important to remember that it's okay to feel like that. You're meant to. You're human. You're not a robot. You're not a cardboard cutout. You're meant to feel like shit. So now I want to give you some tools that you can use when life throws you some shit. So first, we want to take and shrink whatever has happened. We want to shrink its power and the power that it has over you. So the way that I like to do that, name and shame. So for whatever it is, don't try and pretend everything's okay. Call it out. This is what's happened. It's a shit go. I'm in a fucking mood, and I'm supposed to be. And then when you kind of realize that when shit happens to people, everyone feels like shit, kind of takes the power away from it, and you kind of go, well, yeah, I'm supposed to be feeling like this. I'm not supposed to be ecstatic. I'm not supposed to be like positive all the time. Sometimes you have to feel your feels. Number two is, it's not something that's going to fix the issue, but it can help your nervous system to regulate, so then you can feel better and then go, okay, this shit's happened, I've calmed my nervous system down, let's make a plan of how we're going to get through this. So that can be like kicking off your shoes and grounding on the grass. I love doing that even when shit hasn't hit the fan. Big fan of it. Also, a great way to help your nervous system is some breath work. A simple one is box breathing. Usually when you're in the thick of shit, you don't really have time, or you don't even have the effort you want to put into doing anything over the top. So box breath work is just 4, 4, 4, 4. So breathe in for 4 deeply into your belly, pause for 4, breathe out slowly for 4, pause for 4, and then repeat that. That kind of calms your racing heart down. It makes you more intentional about what you're doing, and yeah, helps your nervous system a little bit. Then I think you can kind of say, all right, how can we move forward from this? You really need to give yourself permission to feel shitty and not be so hard on yourself. I know many people, and even myself, you feel like you need to be a rock for everyone else, and you need to be the person that fixes it, and you need to be the person that's strong because everyone else feels like crap. You get to feel like shit too. You don't want to force being positive. Everyone will lie to you and say you're so positive, but it does come across as fake. So it's okay to feel shitty for a bit. Sit with the shit for a bit. It's supposed to be that way. This is where number 4 comes in. Once you've sat with your shit for a bit, you've helped your nervous system, and you realise that everybody feels like crap sometimes. This is when it's time to go, okay, we need to start taking tiny steps. So when I spoke before about what I went through with Dave and what Dave went through, tiny steps, it can look like just getting out of bed. It can look like even if you're staying at home for the day, still get dressed. Don't stay in your pajamas. It can look like ringing someone and having a little bit of a chat about what's going on. And then what you'll find is if you're taking tiny steps every single day, then it kind of has a snowball effect. So tiny steps turn into bigger steps, and then before you know it, you've got a plan in place to get through whatever's going on. And you know what? Sometimes you'll get through what happens, but sometimes there's not a positive outcome. And you know, life isn't a fairy tale. Bad things happen, and in that case, you just have to remember that you are greater than the storm. The storm will pass, you'll get out of the eye of the storm, and even though your house might be crumbled to the ground and it hasn't been the outcome that you wanted, it eventually passes, and then you can learn tools to take cover and to become resilient. You know, some things in life, let's use for example, like death. Someone close to you has died. That's not the outcome you were looking for, and you're not meant to be happy about it. And do you know what? Time doesn't heal all wounds. You know, everyone who has experienced losing someone, I'm sure, has had someone say to them, oh, time heals all wounds. No, it fucking doesn't. It's not supposed to. If they were important to you, you are always going to miss them, and that's okay. Then it becomes about learning tools and ways to cope and become resilient. And that's where people like counsellors, therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists come in to give you those tools. And obviously in some cases tools don't work, and that's where medication comes into play, but that's a different story. So if you feel comfortable, in the comments feel free to share a shitstorm you've been through. I've shared mine. Everyone has one. No one gets through life without going through one. So yeah, in the comments below, if you're happy to share, go ahead and do that. I am planning to do this, I did say fortnightly, but I don't think between work and study and being a mum and a wife, I'll be surprised if I get to do this fortnightly. I was planning to go for a walk when I do this talk, but I soon realised I don't know how I'm going to hold my phone and any notes that I've got. So I don't know, we'll see how we go. This is all new, something that I'm doing because I've started holistic counselling, and I want people to know the type of person I am, the type of person that if you book an appointment, this is who you're going to be sitting across from. When I say sitting across from, yes, we can have a session downstairs in my massage room. I've got it set up to do counselling as well. If you're not keen on that, if you don't like the face-to-face sort of thing, you find it awkward, let's go for a walk out in the sun. If it's a day like this, if it's not, you still want to go for a walk, I've got an umbrella, I can buy gum boots. If you're not keen on doing things face-to-face or shoulder-to-shoulder, we can always do a phone call, we can do Skype. I'm happy to work around you. But yeah, I just wanted to do a monthly talk just so anyone who is thinking about having counselling done, this is who you're going to be met with. I don't expect counselling sessions to be polite and, you know, everything to run smoothly. Well, they're supposed to be messy. You're supposed to be able to be yourself. You can swear, cry, snot, tears, whatever you want. I'm happy with. Most of my clients that already work with me through massage know I'm a pretty real, raw, honest person. What you see is what you get, and yeah, I hope that you feel you can be the same way if we ever work together. So anyway, next month topic, I'm planning to do one on burnout and how to stop feeling like a toasted marshmallow. So yeah, like I said, I would have liked to do it fortnightly, but I don't think that's going to happen. So anyway, get out here and stomp on that crap like the fucking badass you are. Till next time.